I have a question for you. Are you living by the 12 laws of karma, or are you just winging life? Now, most of us may not know the laws of karma, but we probably have elements of living by them. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the 12 laws of karma that by applying them in different areas of your life, you can create a life of abundance, of wealth, and of richness. So let me explain what I mean by karma. Karma are certain rules to play by that allow you to create the life you desire. Now, if you're watching this video, you might have a life now that meets every one of your desires: love, relationships, career, job, business, whatever it may be. However, in my experience, not many people live that way. And they often blame things over there. They blame society, they blame the environment, they blame the resources. And look, all of those have a factor. However, we have more control over what happens to us than we allow ourselves to be, because we're so succumbed to stimulation from outside that we're reacting all the time as opposed to responding. And once we start to break down these 12 laws, I'm hoping that you'll have a different perspective on what you can control and what you can't. And with this perspective shift, you can create ultimate abundance in your life. So let's break down these 12 laws. So law number 1, the great law. And the great law is all about what you put out there is what you get back. So get this, if you put value out in the world, you get value back. If you put hatred in the world, you get hatred back. If you put love in the world, you get love back. The karma is waiting. And it's all about understanding, actually, does my thoughts, does my words, does my actions, do all of those things serve me? And if they don't, what am I putting out in the world? What am I telling the world to give me back? And it works in strange ways. Now, you might say, yeah, I know loads of people who put hate in the world, but they get good things coming back. And I understand that, but we're talking about your life here and what can help you and serve you. So the great law, which I truly believe in, is actually every one of your words, your actions, your thoughts has a ripple effect in the universe, has an impact on the world that we don't know. You know, the butterfly effect is about when something happens over there in the world, the ripple effect of the impact somewhere else is massive. Everything is energy. So the great law is all about understanding, actually, is the things I'm putting out of the world what I want to attract? And that's a great place to start. So if you're not getting love back in the world, if you're not getting opportunities back, if you're not getting adulation back. Now, we're not looking for those things to serve our ego. We're looking for those things to help us grow. So great starting point is saying, actually, what am I putting out in the world in terms of my words, in terms of my actions, in terms of my thoughts, in terms of my feelings? And it's a good starting point is to start there and experiment. So just for the next week, the next month, or whatever it is, I'm going to put things out in the world I'm looking for and then see what shows up. Law number 2, the law of creation. The concept of this is life doesn't happen to you, you create it. So think about this for a moment. Life doesn't happen to you, you create it. We're born these individuals, right? We come out of our mother's body and we come to this world. And we're just we're a body full of senses, and everything we're reacting to through smells, through sounds, through our voice, through touch and feel. And then we start to grow. And then we think that the world is happening to us, but it's happening for us. And when we switch that perspective, all of a sudden you take more control back. A lot of people in this world just live by default. Oh, the world is happening to me and I just got to react to it. So if good things happen, as opposed to actually taking life by the scruff of the neck and saying, actually, I'm going to create it. So think about what's happening in your life right now. How much are you creating and how much are you reacting to? And it's all about the response reaction. Not react to the world, but respond to the world. And say, right, what do I need to create? And each day you have an opportunity. You wake up and we have this pocket of 12 to 18 hours, either side of sleeping, to create anything we want. Your thoughts, your habits, everything is creating your reality. So if the reality that you're having right now, is it serving you? So you have the opportunity to create. And the key is not to do it for 1 or 2 or 3 days and thinking, well, the world is still the same. Is you've got to stick to it. You have a commitment around your identity about what you want to create. And law number 2, the law of creation, gives you that opportunity. Law number 3, the law of growth. And this is all about how you grow and you grow as an individual. So you've got to ask yourself, are you doing everything you can to help you grow yourself? Why you, in terms of your personal development, in terms of your physical development, in terms of your intellectual development, in terms of your spiritual development. So the law of growth is this, is the more you grow yourself, the more the world will show to you. And the law of growth feeds right into a lot of the stuff that I talk about is the inner game. So when you start focusing on your inner game, your mindset, a new mindset new opportunities. New opportunities, new moves, new creation. And it all starts here. So the law of growth is saying to yourself, okay, is the way you're thinking conducive to what you want? How are you growing every single day? What are you doing to put yourself outside the comfort zone that allows you to grow in a way that you're better than yesterday, that you'll have an opportunity to create a foundation to grow tomorrow? We often find ourselves in this mindset, why doesn't the world change? If the world changed, I could do this. You have to change. You know, look at the man in the mirror, as Michael Jackson said, right? It's about, if you want the world to change, be the change. And one of my favorite quotes from Mahatma Gandhi is, be the change you want to see in the world. So if you don't like something out there, is what are you going to do about it? How are you going to grow? And how are you going to put yourselves outside the comfort zone to ensure that you are the ripple effect to the change you want to see in the world? The law of creation feeds into the law of growth that helps you create what you want. Number 4, the law of responsibility. The law of responsibility for me is massive. The question that really jars a lot of people, everything that's in your life, good, bad, ugly, are you taking total responsibility for? Look, I get there are circumstances where some people are more lucky than others. However, when you have the mindset of taking total responsibility for everything that occurs, it's so liberating. Because no, you're not looking for excuses. You're not looking for, well, because that happened, I can't do this. It forces you to get up. So when the good things happen, you go with the flow. When bad things happen, or luck is against you, the law of responsibility means, what do I do first? Not wait for someone to save you, not wait for someone to give you an opportunity, but you create the opportunity and take ultimate responsibility for everything in your life. You can't control everything, but you can control your response to stuff. And that's what I mean by total responsibility, is when someone gives you bad news, how do you react? Now look, there's been times in my life that I've reacted awfully to a situation, whether it's in a personal circumstance or whether it's in a business, and it's my ego's been hit, my validation's been hit, my worthiness has been hit, and I've reacted accordingly. But that doesn't serve me. I'm not taking responsibility for the situation. So if this thing happened and it's bad, or I didn't want it, where is my responsibility for it? So the law of responsibility talks about everything in your life, take responsibility for. Because once you take responsibility for, you have the opportunity to work out the first step. And when you work out the first step, you can start changing things. Law number 5, the law of connection. Everything is connected. Your past, your present, and your future. Everything is energy. So when you start to understand that everything is connected, it's like, wow, how will you change? What will you do differently? You know, sometimes we think how we feed a physical body and how we exercise is not connected to the mind. Absolutely. I'm sure you've had a situation where when you've had a good workout, good exercise, the mind is clearer. So there's a body-mind connection. How you show up for others is how they show up for you. So everything is connected. Everything is energy in that respect. So karma is the bridge between who you are and who you become. And that's all about energy. And the energy you put out in the world. And we're not talking about being rah-rah and all the rest of it. It's about an assurance with yourself. There's a silent energy around who you want to be, and be a magnet for what you want to attract. And when you start to be a magnet for what you want to attract, connections happen. Be that physical connections, mind connections, spiritual connections. And when we feel connected with ourselves, we start to feel connected with others. And that's when we start to grow. Law number 6, the law of focus. Now, you might be a multitasker and do things at once. However, you master your focus, you master your mind. You master your mind, now there's abundance. The thing with focus, we are inundated with so much stimuli. YouTube videos like this one here, social media, advertising, we've got notifications on our phone, bang, 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 so much. So the one who masters their focus is the one who masters their mind. And there's people out there, especially in this time of AI, and I've got this theory of AI, right? AI is going to allow us to come back to human, because all of the tasks that we were busy doing, now AI has taken over. AI can do those mundane tasks. So it leaves us to be more creative. It leaves us to think more. It leaves us humans to connect more and chat more, to be around the campfire and have these conversations, because the mundane tasks that were keeping us busy for years and years and years, we no longer have to attend, because there's AI bots and bits and pieces are doing these things. So the focus switches now to actually human-centered conversations, human-centered leadership, knowing what you want to do. And when you focus, what happens with focus? You get laser, you start creating penetration. And in that penetration, you start creating unbelievable things in your life, because the focused mind can always beat the mind that is scattered. that is scattered all over the place. And remember, being focused is not just about productivity, it's about power. You look at all the people in the world that has the most power, allowing for the political agenda, is the ones who are most focused. Focus gives you that alignment around creating stuff. Law number 7, the law of integrity. Give without expecting. Integrity is about keeping your word. Integrity is about being your word. Integrity is about showing up in the way in the world that you want to be seen as. It's about matching your actions to your word. So imagine this, imagine that. Now what I aim to do is I will never say something I'm not committed to, being late, delivering on certain projects, getting things done. If I can't do those, I'm in communication. So I'm always my word. So the idea of giving is all about saying, okay, well, if I want to give something, we all want to be givers, is are you going to keep your word? Don't disappoint. Don't promise something and not deliver. And the law of giving is giving with integrity. It's not just about giving and then not showing up. Because when you start to show up in the way that you want others to show up for you, they will start showing up for you. And if they don't show up for you, you know who your tribe are. You can start cutting down your world to the people and the individuals that serve the way you want to serve. And the law of giving is all about integrity, keeping your word, that your words match your actions. Law number 8, the law of the here and now. So what does this mean? It's all about you can only be present. You can't store things in the past. You can't save time now for the future. And we talk about this thing about why it's called the present is because it is a present. It's being in the here and now. And if you can spend most of your time, you have to plan. You have to put things in place for future projects. I get that. But any given moment, just be present. And when you're present, you stop being busy because you're focused on the task. I'm recording this video now. I've got other things to do, but my mind is on this video and delivering the best piece of content I can. So when you start to be present in any given situation, time stands still and you get more done. You stop being busy. You allow yourself to say, give the complete respect to the task at hand, to the person you're speaking to. And guess what? When that happens, you just feel less tired. The tiredness comes from trying to think of different things while doing different things. And this law, the law of presence, allows you to keep that focus in what you're doing right now. Because the key is this, the only thing you can control is what you do in this moment. And that's it. Law number 9, the law of humility. So get this is all about accepting for what is. What you refuse to accept will control you. So there might be a certain situation in your life right now that you're not enjoying. It might be a relationship breakup. It might be a loss of a job. It might be not getting the deal. Now, by resisting what the reality is, means it will control you. By accepting the situation, you start getting into creation mode. You start to get into productivity mode. You start getting into responsibility mode. So accept everything as it is. However, then say, I don't like what it is. If you don't like the situation, what can you do to change it? How can you change your thinking? How can you change your focus? How can you change your outlook on the situation? That means you can make the situation different to what it is. Because if you don't accept things for what it is, you can't change things. You can't move forward. And it's not about accepting the mundane. It's not about accepting low standards. It's about seeing things for what they are and then saying, what's the control? What's the power I have to change those things? Because when you stop pretending about what a certain situation is, you start unlocking the reality. And when you start unlocking the reality, then you'll start to be productive. And that in itself unlocks growth. Number 10, the law of patience and reward. The most valuable rewards require time and effort. You've got to put time in certain things. Now, I have this phrase I use, do everything fast, but never in a hurry. It means get things done over the line. However, when you're in the thing, be patient, plan, execute, get things over the line quickly, but do the actual task, not in a hurry. Give it the respect it deserves. Don't underestimate the compound effect here, because when you give things time and effort and be consistent and go deep in things, the compound effect of that is the reward. And that then all of a sudden is that you can do the same effort and get twice the reward, same effort 4 times the reward, same effort 10 times the reward. And that's the impact of having time and patience on any task at hand. Consistent aligned effort gets you the greatest rewards. Little hacks, they might give you small wins now and again, but in terms of playing the long game, allow the fact that when you take time, be consistent, detach yourself from the outcome, you start getting what you want and what you desire and what you deserve. Number 11, the law of change. Life will keep repeating the same lesson to you until you change the pattern. It's amazing how life keeps giving you these little lessons if you're not learning, if you keep making the same mistakes, if you keep asking the same question and not getting different results. Life has a funny way, in different ways, of throwing back to you until you learn the lesson. How many times in your life have you confronted with the situation and then you keep on making the same mistake? You wonder, why does this keep happening to me? Because you're not learning a lesson. And sometimes the way the universe works, the way the world works, it will keep throwing these things to you in different formats, whether it's in a work situation, a personal situation, until you learn. And the way they know that you've learned, you start changing your pattern, you start changing your habits. What habits right now serve you? What habits right now don't serve you? The law of change is linked to your habits, because the habits are the things you do without thinking. So when you start to understand that the great rewards are there from change, and understanding that, you will start to see what habits actually do I need to adopt or do I need to change. And finally, law 12, the law of significance and inspiration. What you do matters, and what you do with the right energy will change the world. And that's what this is about. This law is about understanding that you're the one that inspires the world. You're the one who is significant, and every single one of us has a role. It's up to you to find out what is your role. What's the role that you need to play in your life that the world needs to hear? You are the answer to someone's problems. However, you haven't shown up yet. There is somebody out there that knows you are the answer, but they don't know you. You haven't shown up. So you need to show up for them to find out, wow, you are the answer to my problem. Effort matters, intention matters. And that's the key here. When you're intentional in everything you do, you start to change your world, which means you start to change everybody else as well. When you start to put effort in something, it echoes. And what happens with echoes? It starts repeating itself, and you start over a period of time, and as long as you're patient, if you put things out there, everything will start coming back to you in the way that you desire. And that's when real impact begins. These 12 laws aren't just concepts, they're tools. And when you start to use these consciously with intention, everything starts to shift. How you think, how you lead, and how you live. So ask yourself this question: how many of these laws are you actually living by? And more importantly, which one do you need to start living by today? I hope this video helps. See you next time.